Hello, friends. How are you? Nice meeting you. Uh, we have been seeing that contribution in importance of contribution in profit planning. So far our sessions we have done contribution per unit is the deciding factor for deciding the profitability of products. Okay. So it is contribution per unit is a common thing provided there are no constraints. There are no limitations. There are no problems with regard to basic key factors of production like labor available, raw material available, power available, machinery available, etc. But in real life, you may have some problems. In real life, you may have some problems. You cannot have everything abundance in supply for every time. So power may not be available, labor may not be available, raw material may not be available. So there will be always some constraints, there are always some limitations. So given the constraints, given the limiting factors, we call it as limiting factors, key factors, constraints, whatever you call, there is a compelling restrictions not to maximize the production, not to maximize the profit because of lack of availability of raw material, lack of availability of labor, lack of money, etc. So many things. So in real life, business life, there is always some constraints. Now, how to make best use of these scarce key factors, like let us say raw materials, and it is available only limited quantity. You are given, you have to produce some three products. But given the constraints, given the limited availability of raw materials, how to maximize the profit is the challenging thing for any business. We can't afford to put the same raw material on producing B, which is not giving good profit. Okay, so we'll try to allocate these resources, profitability based on the product which gives maximum contribution. So I already told you, contribution only we'll be talking. Now we will not talk in terms of absolute profitability. So contribution is a deciding factor. So let us see. So now this, you see this, there is limiting factors. Raw materials are there. You cannot be away, you can't get all the raw materials all the time. Like a machinery, the capacity to produce, there will be some machinery limitations is there. Some machinery, efficient machinery will produce more, some are producing less. Then labor may not be available, so you have to be very careful. So you have to take a suitable labor who can give the maximum output for your concerned company. Then capital money is a scarce commodity. You cannot get just like that anything, anytime you want. So there are so many limitations. There no challenge comes. How best you can use these constraints, these limiting key factors to maximize your production, because you can't just like that you can allocate the resources or material, let us say materials, raw materials are not available in time, in quantity, when they decide quantity. So you can't just like that go on producing them to A, B, C. You have to concentrate, focus on those products which gives maximum contribution. Okay, understood? So this is the last sessions we have seen completely. There is no constraints. There is no short supply of material, raw material, etc. Everything is available in time. Everything available in abundantly. Everything will get in no time. All things. In those situations, we can only see contribution per unit. Contribution per unit. Now we cannot see contribution per unit. We have to see differently. So let us see. Now in this case, we have got one example. Let us work it out, because this is given the limiting factors, how best you can use this cash commodity to maximize your profitability. It is a challenge. You can't afford to waste your precious resources for producing some goods which is not giving good profit. So how to allocate, that is the challenge. So this is very important session. Please see it very carefully, listen to me, so that you will be blessed and you will be benefited to a great extent by this session. Okay, so because everything in a real life, everything is not available at the same time. You can't get the labor just like that. You can't get the materials as you want. You cannot get it because it is some sort of constraints, some sort of problems here. You can't get what you want. So how best, this is the available thing, which how you can best use the production to maximize your profit. Which product you will allocate this? To which product you will allocate the raw materials so that you will get the maximum profit. So here you have to see, instead of contribution per unit, I'm not going into some mathematics, arriving at how mathematics to arrive at the statistics figures. It's a fact. You have to accept it. Instead of taking contribution per unit, you have to go in for contribution per limiting factor. What is the limiting factor? Let us say raw materials. So you have to go, first you have to calculate contribution per unit, then you have to go by contribution per kg of raw material for producing 1 unit. Okay, so this is the second step. So all other steps are same. So let us see. See, in this case, actually, you see, all the three products are there. A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C. In this case, you see selling prices per unit is 220, 170, 140. Okay. So now this is the problem is, as per the given problem, only three materials you are supposed to produce. In this case, the limiting factor or constraints or key factor is raw material. Raw material is not available in quantity. Only 18,000 kg is available. No, 18,000 kg is available. You can't just like go on producing A, B, C, just like that you want, because 18,000 is available. 18,000 only available. You can't produce all the you can't meet all the demands. At the same time, you have to, what is given, what is available with you, you have to allocate properly to those products which give maximum contribution. Okay, now that is the key factor. So you have to, instead of going for contribution per unit, you have to go in for contribution per key factor. Which is the key factor here? Raw material. It may be labor. Labor means again hour. In hours, in terms of hours, you have to calculate. In terms of machinery, hours. Okay. In terms of capital, the return, etc. So I'm taking this in this problem. The key factor is limiting factor because it limits your capacity to produce to the fullest extent. It limits your ability to produce. So with the constraints, with the limited availability of raw material, you have to go in for those products by which you can maximize your profits. You understood? I think you got my point. So very important. So what you have to go step is just like that. See, this is the raw material. So this is variable cost. This much is there. Again, variable cost. So variable cost. Okay. Now you have to go in for contribution per unit. So contribution per unit means what is that? Total variable cost 140. So how will you find the contribution per unit is 220 divided by 140. Well, sorry, minus 140. So it comes around. So you will take less. So what will you do the contribution? Contribution to sales price minus the total variable cost per unit. So per unit. So it is 220 minus 140. So it will be around 80. Okay. 80. Then again 170. Then minus again 125. It comes to 45. Okay. So this is 45. Then again it comes to 70 because minus this. Okay. So this much you know already, because we already last previous sessions we worked contribution per unit. Based on contribution per unit only we have taken the decisions. Now things are changing, because as you think you cannot get everything in time abundantly. There is always limiting factors. Then there will be always short supply. There's always, you want readily, you can't get it. This is all the problems that we are facing in the business every day. So now instead of going contribution per unit, now you have to go for contribution per limiting factor. Limiting factor in this case, raw material. Okay, I already told you, limiting key factors are, whatever you call limiting factor, key factor, constants, all same. So raw material, machinery, labor, capital, etc. In this case, raw material is the limiting factor. Now you have to see the raw material. Raw material only 18,000 kgs are only available. So now instead of going for contribution per unit, you have to go for contribution per limiting factor, because limiting factor in this case raw material, because only contribution per limiting factor only will give a correct picture. Okay. So in this case, for example, the raw material is in this case A40 kgs are produced. So for 40 rupees cost per unit. So per unit, how many kg are required? 40 divided by 10 equal to 4. Got the point? You got the point? So in this case, per unit you are getting 40 rupees. 40 rupees is the total raw material cost. So per how many kg is there? Rupees kg? 10 rupees. So 40 is there. So how many kgs you have to use per unit is 4. Okay, now you understood this. Then again 50 divided by 10 equal to 5 kg. 5 kg. Now you got the point, 5 kg. Then in this case 20 divided by 10 equal to 2 kg. This is kg consumed per unit. Okay, for producing 1 unit, you have to produce 4 kgs, 5 kgs, 2 kgs. Now you have to go in for key contribution per limiting factor. So in this case, 4 kgs, 5 kgs, 2 kgs. So contribution per limiting factor is divided by nothing but 80 divided by 4. 80 divided by 4. So in this divided by, because per unit how much kgs are produced? 4. So per unit, what is the contribution per unit per kg of raw material for producing 1 unit? So in this case, it becomes 20. Okay, now this point is very important. So instead of going for contribution per unit, you have to go in for contribution per limiting factor. In this case, limiting factor is raw material. So raw material means 80. So contribution per unit is 80 divided by 4 equal to, divided by 4 means what? One for producing 1 unit, 4 kg is equal. So for 1 kg, how much is that? 20. Okay, because this is very scarce. So for producing contribution per kg is 20. Okay, because you have to allocate carefully. So contribution per unit is 4. Again in this case 45 divided by 5. So contribution per unit divided by 5 kg. So this is divided by 9, it will come to 9. Okay. Now again 70, it will comes around divided by 2. In this case 2, 35. Okay. So now contribution per kg of raw material. Okay, contribution per kg of raw material. What is the limiting factor is raw material. So 29, 35 for producing one using 1 kg of raw material for producing C, contribution is coming out to 35. Okay, so for producing for B quantity, for producing 1 unit of for using 1 kg of raw material for producing B unit, you are getting contribution of 9. For producing for using 1 kg of raw material, you are getting contribution is 20. So what it means, for producing B, for producing C, 1 kg of raw material to be used. Okay, the raw material are used. For it, contribution gives you 35. For using 1 kg of raw material for producing B, you are getting contribution of 9. Again, for using 1 kg of raw material, you are getting 20 contribution for A. So contribution is 29.35. So per kg of raw material, you are getting a contribution of 35 here getting 20, here getting 9. So which gives a maximum contribution? Let us, you have to rank it. So this comes first. Second is, and third is this. Now I will allocate the raw materials. First this, second this, third this. But I can't use all, I can just like put demand, based on demand only I'll use it. Okay, I can't just put everything in there because demand is 1,500 only. So I'll go and put this 1,500. Then I'll come to A. Anything left out, I'll go to C. Okay, so now you got the point. So now you have to find out how the raw material is being allocated. So this is very important. How the raw material is allocated, because now you see, understand now this is because contribution per limiting factor is contribution for using 1 kg of raw material. For using 1 kg of raw material for producing C, I am getting a contribution of 35. Again, for by consuming 1 kg of raw material for producing B, I am getting contribution of 9. Again, for consuming 1 kg of raw material for producing A, I am getting 20 rupees contribution. So first is 35, second is 20, third is 9. So now raw material is only available is 18,000 kg only. Now I have to allocate. This is the challenge. This is the challenge. So raw material. So raw material, you say that the first thing is C. First material I will say I will take 1,500. So 1,500 I will take C. Okay, see, now you understand what the point. If you don't understand, just try to, again, you can put it in your comments so that I can clarify also. So, this is very important because this is a lifeblood. You have to decide, make a decision. So, in this case, C I will take first. So, take first C first. So how many kgs are required in this case? You see 1500. Okay, 1500 total raw material available is uh, 18,000 kg. Okay, now first I will take C. See how many raw material is required is 1500. Demand is 1500 into 2. So 2 is required for producing 1 unit. So into 1500. So 3000. So okay, 3000. So I will using first 3000 for 3000 kgs for producing C only. So what is left out is 15,000. Okay, left out is 15,000. Now I am going to use now next ranking is which gives the maximum contribution per limiting factor is A. So A, I'll take A. So A again. Sorry, this is first this side. So 3000. So what is left out is 15,000. Okay. And now second I am going to take B. So B, what is that? The demand is 1000. They want 1000. So 1000 into what is the quantity? 4. Okay. 4. It is 4000. Now it's a B already consumed. C is A is consuming 4000 kg. Total 18,000. First I am allocating C because it ranks in first ranking. So 3000 gone. Next 15,000 left out. Now I am going to take T. What you call A. A is 4,000 kgs totally. So what is left out is 11,000. Okay. Now I am coming to the last third. Third is how much they are asking? 3,000. So 3,000 into 5. 5. So what is it they require for to meet the demand of 3,000? I have to need how much I need? 15,000 kg of raw material. But I cannot allocate 15,000. I can allocate 16,000, 15,000 because what is left out is only 11,000. So how much I can give? How much I can give? Only 11,000 kg only I can use. So instead of 3,000 rupees, I can give only 2,200 as the production and sales because B cannot be produced 3,000 rupees because no raw material is available. No raw material is available. So only 11,000 is available. But how much is required for producing C, for producing B? So this is B, this is A. Okay. So this is C. C, A, last is B. So B, how much is it? 15,000. So 15,000 I cannot give because I can go, how much is I got only 11,000. So instead of 15,000, instead of producing 3,000 rupees, I can produce how much? 11,000 divided by 5 equal to 2,200 only I can produce. So this fellow is asking 3,000 B, but I can say only 2,200 because it is not possible. 2,200 into 5, okay, 5 equal to 11,000. So raw material is equal to 0. Okay, got the point? So it's very important. So limiting factor, what I'm saying is, whenever you face limiting factor, please try to understand that only you can efficiently allocate those limiting factors, constraints, profitability, so that you can make maximize your profit. In this case, raw material is a limiting factor, a key factor, which is not available abundantly. Only 18,000 kg is available, but you have to produce 3 units. A, B, C, all the 3 units are producing, are requiring the same raw material, but we have to allocate differently. You can't just blindly, you can't put those things and incur losses or reduce your profits. So what you have to say is, first is contribution per unit, then you can go in for contribution per kg of raw material, then accordingly rank it first, second, Third, between these three, between C, A, B, first allocate A, C what they want, second allocate B what they want, the last whatever left out allocate for C. So then raw material is 0. This is how you have to efficiently allocate your resources so that you can maximize your profit. So instead of contribution per unit, you have to see contribution per limiting factor. It may be raw material, it may be labor. Labor means again, instead of going for per kg per hour, you see, suppose constraint is machinery, again per hour how much it produces. Like that, you can go on allocating yardstick so that you can maximize your profit. So instead of looking for contribution per unit, you have to go in for contribution per key factor and allocate resources accordingly, rank it accordingly, and allocate among the products so that you can maximize your profit. So in this case, how much profit they can earn? So just like that is easy. Instead of how much profit they say how much total, how much you profit. So in this case, what is that? You have to go in for contribution. So total contribution you calculate per limiting factor or per unit also. Anything itself will be the same. So in this case, so profit. So contribution, you take contribution. So how much is there? 3,000 rupees. 3,000 into 35. Here in this case, you can go for a. So here first 35. So the contribution per key factor is 35. So 3,000 into 35. So in 35. So 1,05,000. Okay. 1,05,000. Then again, how much you are getting is 4,000. So contribution by limiting factors in this case 20. Okay, 20. So into 20, 80,000. Okay. Then again, what is this thing is 2,200 you are going to produce. What is the this is 9. Okay, 11,000 into 2,200 into 9. Okay, so this is you have to find out 99,000. You will get something like that. 2,200 into 9. Okay, so here around in this case, in this case 80,000. In this case 105. Then again in this case lost is B. No, B lost is B. So lost basis here into 9. So 11,000 into 9. Okay, so 9. So 99,000. Okay, so not this one. So 11,000 into 99. So first you are allocating 3,000. So contribution per raw material is 35 per limiting factor. Contribution is 1,05,000. Or again 5,000. Again contribution per kg of raw material 80,000. Okay. Then again 11,000 into what is the contribution per kg? 99,000. Totally it comes around 2,84,000. 2,84,000 total contribution. Already you have learnt it that total profit can be arrived indifferently. Contribution minus total contribution minus fixed cost equal to profit. So contribution consisting of two things. One is profit plus fixed cost. In this case, total contribution is how much is that? 2,84,000. Okay, 2,84,000. What is the fixed cost? Fixed cost is 30,000. So 2,54,000. Okay, so this is total profit. Okay, so this is how you have to find out. So how you can find out the profit? Profit it can be done differently. In this case, if you have the total contribution, so if you reduce from the total contribution, if you minus fixed cost, you will get the profit. Now this is how you have to work it out. So you have to allocate your resources very efficiently and carefully and prudently based on contribution per limiting factor, not based on contribution per unit. Please understand. I hope you understood these sessions. Please bring it to your friends and help us and motivate us by subscribing those our channel also. And I will continue to post some useful materials to you. Till we meet again, God bless. Thank you.